Good morning. Welcome to the National Museum of the American Indian. My name is Jay Harrison, and we are thrilled that you're joining us today for the program on Hawaiian wayfinding. We are honored to have the renowned Hawaiian storyteller Moses Goods join us to share stories of navigation, wayfinding, and the exploits of Maui. We would like you to ask you to stay in your seats after Moses finishes his stories. We will call your groups out and have you meet with your museum guide for the next part of today's program. Let's give a warm welcome to Moses Goods.
Okay, aloha everyone. Aloha. There we go. My name is Moses. I'm a storyteller from Hawaii. And today I'm going to tell you a story that was one of the stories that inspired the rediscovery of Hawaiian navigation. Let me explain. Hundreds and hundreds of years ago, Hawaiians were able to navigate the ocean, travel across thousands and thousands of miles of ocean without the use of a compass, without the use of a map, without the use of GPS. They didn't have any of those things, but they were able to travel over the ocean for thousands of miles, but then they forgot how to do that. So for centuries, that knowledge was lost. But then, in the 1970s, a group of young Hawaiians said, hey, in our stories, it says that our ancestors were capable of traveling over thousands of miles of ocean. Why can't we do that today? So they relearned how to navigate the ocean using the stars, using the sun, using the wind, the birds, and the sea currents. They learned all of those things that created a system for them to navigate and voyage over the ocean. So this is one of the stories that inspired those men to rediscover how our ancestors traveled over the ocean. So here's my story. And the story begins with Kane and Kanaloa, two gods from the mystical land of Kahiki. They traveled all the way to Hawaii in search of fresh water that they mixed into ava, the intoxicating drink of the gods. Now in this story, Kane and Kanaloa were siblings, and they came to live for a time on the island of Lanai with their youngest brother, Kane'apua. Kane, Kanaloa, brothers, is this the day we fly back to Kahiki? Oh, how I miss our home, the places, the sights, our family, Kahiki! Kane? Kanaloa? Kanaloa? Oh, I guess you two are busy. Well, I'll just go and fetch water for your ava, like I do every day. You see, Kane and Kanaloa could both transform themselves into birds, but Kane'apua could not. So he waited patiently for the day that his brothers would fly him back home to Kahiki. Water! Water! Oh, it's so hot. The sun is relentless on this island. In Kahiki, the sun is never too hot. It's always just right. And in Kahiki, I never have to hike so far to get water. There's water everywhere you look. Water to swim in. Water to bathe in. And water to drink. Uh-oh. Kane'apua drank too much of the water. So frantically, he ran to the nearest shrub so he could take care of his pilikia. But the shrub was just uphill of the spring. So when he went to relieve himself, it trickled back down into the water below. Oh, I better get this water back down to Kane and Kanaloa. They get really cranky when they don't have their ava. When he returned, the brothers were sitting, waiting for the kanoa to be filled. Kane'apua poured the water, mixed the ava, then served it to his brothers. Then suddenly, their eyes went big, their faces paled, and ava spewed from their mouths. They were outraged that Kane'apua defiled their water, and in a fury, they leaped high into the air, taking the form of birds, and they flew back to Kahiki. Brothers, wait! It was an accident! Oh, please don't leave me alone. I'm sorry! Sorry for peeing in your water. Days passed, months went by, and the brothers never returned. How could they have left Kane'apua all alone, never to return to his homeland? He grew angry with them, and he vowed to find a way back to Kahiki to confront them. Then one day, while staring off into the distance, he saw the answer to his problem. It was a va'a, a canoe, but not just any canoe. It had two massive hulls made from the trunks of ancient trees. The giant sails used the power of the wind to move it forward. This was a va'akaulua, a voyaging canoe made big and strong to travel great distances. Using his godly powers, Kane'apua reached out to commune with the kilo on board. Great Kilo, seer of things and reader of omens, I am Kane'apua. Tell me, wise one, who sails these waters?
Wahanui is the chief of this va'a. He leads us to the land of Kahiki.
Great Kilo, it is my desire to travel with your chief. I have great powers that can aid in this journey. Please, wise one, I require but a small spot upon the pola of the canoe.
No, this va'a already has a kilo, me. And besides, there's no space upon the pola.
Then, Great Kilo, allow me to ride down below in the kino.
No, the kino is full as well.
Then what about the ama, or the yaku, or the manu?
No, no, no.
The kilo denied every request that Kane'apua made, till finally he gave up. But just as the va'a began to sail away without him, he felt something in the air. Great Kilo, a storm comes, powerful indeed. Turn back and moor the va'a.
How dare you? No one orders the kilo of Wahanui. And besides, I feel no storm coming.
And with that, they sailed on. But not long after, the winds began to build and build until a great storm engulfed the va'a, tossing it about. Supplies were soaked, lives nearly lost. The chief Wahanui knew then that Kane'apua was wiser than his kilo. And when the storm finally died down, he was allowed on board. But day after day, that old kilo stared menacingly at Kane'apua. One day, he stared so hard that he didn't notice the thick fog forming around them. This fog was sent by Kane and Kanaloa, who knew that their brother sought revenge. The fog grew so thick that no one could see. When it finally lifted, the men were terrified by what they saw.
A giant dog stands upon the water. It is the dog of the goddess Hina, sent to devour us whole. I knew Kane'apua was bad luck. Now we're all going to die. Ah! Great Kilo, that is no dog. It is Kane Hunamoku, the hidden island of Kane. Those who have never sailed there are struck with fear by false illusions. E holomua e na Kane. Sail on, and you will see. Though fearful, the chief Wahanui trusted Kane'apua, and as they neared the monstrous dog, it faded from view, revealing the beautiful and enticing island of Kane Hunamoku. But that was not the island they sought. Days passed uneventful, but Kane'apua knew that his brothers would not allow them safe passage to Kahiki. So, when they heard the low rumbling beneath the sea, he was not at all surprised. The rumbling grew louder and louder. The water around them began to churn as though something were rising to the top, something big. Then suddenly, a huge rock breached the surface of the water. It grew and grew and grew until a cliff 100 feet high stood towering above them. More rumbling was heard as a second cliff shot up into the air. The men held their breaths, waiting for what would happen. But Kane'apua said, I know these cliffs. There are Paliuli and Palikea, two demigods sent by Kane and Kanaloa to destroy us. E na kupua, heva olua, o Kane'apua noau. Ina pepehi iau, nui ko hila hila. E hoi ke kaio Paliuli, e hoi ke kaio Palikea. Mai hana ino ya mākou. The two cliffs heard the chiding words and halted moments before crushing the va'a. Then shamefully receded back into the sea below. The men all shouted with excitement, thanking Kane'apua for saving their lives. But the worst was yet to come. Kane'apua knew that in order to reach Kahiki, they needed the help of someone powerful. So he dove into the water in search of Honunui Kua Ea Ea. She was a giant of the sea, an ancient turtle with great power. If she revealed her face, then she would help. But if she turned her massive back, they would all die. Into the deep he searched until he came across what looked like a small mountain beneath the sea. It was her, Honunui Kua Ea Ea, the ancient one. He faced her massive shell and he spoke. Grandmother! Grandmother, I am Kane'apua, your offspring. Please, grandmother, show me your face in my time of need. The shell began to move back and forth, kicking up huge clouds of sand. This massive creature could crush Kane'apua with the slightest move of her body. He began to panic, and he turned to swim for his life. But something stopped him. It was a feeling of calm and comfort. He turned around to see the eyes of his kupuna looking down upon him. Mo'opuna, it fills me with aloha to see you. I know why you have come. I have seen it. Your brothers are powerful indeed and control many elements, but I will help. Take this rope. It is made from my na'au, my insides. May it protect and secure you in your time of need. Now go forth, my kupu, and take with you the strength of your ancestors. The next day brought them to the land they sought, Kahiki. Using the rope of his ancestors, Kane'apua quickly moored the va'a. Then the air shifted and his face paled with fear. He knew that his brothers possessed the Gourd of La Mama. Whoever possessed the Gourd of La Mama could control all of the winds from Hawaii to Ka'ula. Kane and Kanaloa opened the gourd, and the winds came quickly. Kaua'ula the roaring, Olau the piercing, Kipu'upu'u that chills to the bone, all were unleashed upon them. When one gale ended, another would hit them even harder than before. The storm lasted for 10 days straight, but through it all, the rope of Na'au held strong, keeping them safe from sure destruction. When the storm finally ended, not one life was lost. Kane'apua finally stepped foot on his homeland of Kahiki. His brothers, thinking that they had won, were drunk with ava and unable to move. So Kane'apua sent the chief Wahanui to stand upon their chests, signifying triumph. That chief then sailed back home to Hawaii, but Kane'apua stayed in Kahiki, content on his homeland and respected by his brothers. Now, I end my story with a traditional Hawaiian saying, which is pipi holo ka'au, that the sprinkled tales travel far. Mahalo, everyone. Thank you very much. That is the end of my story. Are there any questions from anyone in the audience? Yes, what's your question? What's that? Havaka? Is that a word you heard before? Well, vaka and va'a they mean the same thing, and a va'a in Hawaiian is a canoe. So maybe that's what you're thinking of. So va'a means canoe. What's your question? There are many volcanoes, and one of them is active right now. But that active volcano is not on the island that I live on. It's on the big island of Hawaii. So it's erupting right now, so there's lava coming out of it, but everyone's safe. They evacuated that area because Hawaii actually lives on what they call the hot spot, one of the hot spots in the Pacific Ocean, meaning that lava will come up every once in a while in one of those volcanoes. And right now, it's erupting on the island of Hawaii. What's that? Oh, what island? So I'm originally from the island of Maui. That's the second largest island in Hawaii. But now I live on Oahu, which is the third largest island. So that's where I live, but I'm from a different island. But the volcano is happening on the biggest island way to the south. So I'm far away from that. Yes? In Hawaii? I live there. I'm just visiting here. Yeah, so I flew in yesterday just to come here and tell stories to you guys. So I visit here once in a while. My mother is from Hawaii. My dad is actually from Virginia, so I was born in DC. But I live in Hawaii, and every once in a while I get to come back and share my stories with all of you guys. Yes. But I live in Hawaii, because that's where my mom is born and raised. But I get to travel all over, including DC. I come here usually once a year to do these stories. Yes? Is that a real tattoo? This is a real tattoo. So this is a tattoo that's done in the traditional style. So it hurt. So you get these sharpened boar's tusks, and they tap it into your skin. So this wasn't done with the gun. This was done in the traditional style. And this tattoo represents my family, my genealogy. So all of my ancestors are represented in this tattoo. About 4 hours. Mm-hmm. Yes? Why did I choose to be a storyteller? I love being a storyteller. I get to travel all over the world and share my stories with people. So I started off in high school doing a lot of acting and things like that. And it's just something that I stuck with. And now that's what I do for a living. You said they want to see? Oh, this is my tattoo that goes all the way up my leg. Yes? How many islands are there? There are 8 islands total in Hawaii. 8 islands. Yes?
We have time for one more question.
One more question, last one.
Okay.
I go all over. I've been I've been to places on the mainland. I go to different countries. I go all over and share my stories with people all over the world. All right, guys, thank you so much. Mahalo to all of you. Have a good day.
We get to go to the planetarium now.
Let's give Moses another round of applause for these amazing stories, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, guys. Mahalo.